All right. Welcome everybody to Alpha Art Gallery's 2023 NBAS Close to Home exhibition. My name is Rebecca Nicosia, and today I'm joined by Carol Heft, a mixed media artist based in New York City. Thank you for being here today, Carol.
Thank you.
So to start off, just if you could tell me generally about the pieces you've submitted, any specific themes, how you really just went about choosing your pieces.
Okay, well, part of the choices were made based on the guideline for the submissions. I think some the materials were indicated on the application, and also the size of the pieces. I wanted to make sure I was going to be able to comfortably transport them. So that was part of the choice. I also wanted to choose a small body of work that had some internal consistency. So there are similarities, not so much style maybe, but in concept on the 6 or 7 pieces that I sent.
So what drew you towards, this style of art for the pieces that you've submitted?
Yeah, that kind of is a continuation maybe of the last question. I don't really consider my work stylized because I do a really wide range of work. I have a very traditional academic background. When I was about 12, I started studying with an artist named Robert Brackman, who was taught at the Art Students League and had a traditional background, having studied with people like George Bellows and Thomas Eakins and that genre. So I love to draw from observation. I also love to paint from observation, but the work I submitted, and part of some of the work I do, is based more on non-objective imagery, if you will. I don't really consider it abstract because there's always a figurative or narrative content to it. But
Okay.
The things that are in the 6 pieces in the group, they're kind of cousins to each other. And as far as there's a lot of movement across the picture plane laterally, there's not really much deep space. It's not a naturalistic kind of space. And the tactile quality of the surface is another consistency.
Absolutely. Yeah, I noticed among the pieces that they all did seem to sort of have a connected narrative, like you were saying.
Yeah, I think probably they were done close in time to each other. So there's a sequential aspect to their development. Yeah.
Very cool. So I know that you were a teacher at one point. How did your time as a teacher influence, your thoughts and behaviors towards your own art and basically, inspire you in your creative process?
Well, I really like that question because I love teaching and I've taught for many years, many different kinds of people, groups, populations, ages, cultural backgrounds. And right now I'm teaching drawing at a couple of different colleges, and I also teach art history at a university here in New York. And teaching has influenced my work more than I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity. First of all, teaching art history has given me a chance to really get an enriched view of my mentors, the artists that I admire from the past, and also the historical context I find really interesting. The various ways materials have been invented and discovered and used over long periods of time. But also just interacting with students feeds into my own ideas and creativity. So I love to draw, and I really enjoy watching other people draw. So it's an ideal profession for me. And I like to help people learn how to talk about their work. So I think that kind of answers or addresses the question you're asking. Teaching is a really important part of my life as an artist.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, I think we're a little frozen there. So would you say that's one of your big motivators that pushes you to create?
Yeah, I think, interestingly, like I said, I love to draw. I like to be alone drawing. I also like to draw in groups, classrooms, or drawing groups. But sharing my work with other people in the last maybe 5 or 10 years, because I'm 70 years old now. I started, working when I was 12. So I've been a working artist for a long time. But really, in the last couple of decades, let's say, of my life, I've realized how important it is to me, not just to make things, but to know that other people will see them. And there's like a metaphysical aspect to that. The old question, if a tree falls in the forest and it makes a sound and nobody hears it, does it make a sound? And so social media has been an important factor in my motivation in the not so recent past, but in the past, and certainly in the present, because I know I can share my work on Facebook, for example, which I use. There's a community of artists on Facebook that I've tapped into, and so I get inspired by their work too. And it can be like a studio visit, and it's not so, maybe 20 or 30 years ago, you were really dependent on galleries, either commercial galleries or nonprofits or artist-run galleries, in order to exhibit your work. And now there's a much wider audience that's accessible because of social media. So I find that's affected me a lot in a good way, I'm happy to
Absolutely,
say.
yeah. That's good. The digital age it's been very impactful for sure in the art world. So, what would you hope that your viewers on social media and just in general coming to gallery exhibitions will take away from your artwork?
And also in my classrooms, I think the same thing. I know for me, seeing other people do something that is meaningful to them, the authenticity about that is inspiring.
Absolutely.
And so I hope that my work will inspire other people to find out what they think is really interesting or meaningful, and move towards that in a way that will help them grow and develop both personally and professionally. And that's what I hope for myself. So I'd like to
Right.
share that with other people.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Inspiration does drive creativity, I find.
I think
All right.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, great. Those are all my questions that I have for you today. So thank you so much for meeting with me. I had a lovely time getting to know you as a person and as an artist, and I can't wait to see you at the exhibition.
Thank you, Rebecca. Really appreciate your thoughtful questions and listening to me. Thank you.
Of course.